Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our briefing session here at the Civic Facility in Bundaberg. The briefing session is an opportunity to be able to ask questions or look at the agenda that is coming before us at the next council meeting. As this is our first to go live stream, I just want to thank all the staff that have been able to put this in place. I thank everybody for their distancing and sending a clear message to the community that by working together, following the guidelines and directions, we can certainly achieve a great outcome for the community. So I just hope by saying thank you and then hand over to our CEO who will chair the briefing meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome everybody. Councillor Haberman's going to be about 10 minutes late. He just had to do something in the lunch break. The first item we have today is a notice of motion from Councillor Bartels to do with mineral development licence application. Councillor Bartels, do you want to give us any background for that? Or?
Yes, Mr. Chair. During the election campaign, it was highlighted that there was concern in the community about the proposed Fox Resources mine in the northern parts of the Bundaberg region, from Sharon, Avondale, Oakwood, Burrum, all around the area there. I publicly stated very early on that I was against the mineral development licence application and that I would advocate to the state government to ensure that it didn't proceed. I would like to thank the Mayor for his support with that matter as well, and he publicly stated the same. And this notice of motion is just to formalise what we stated during the campaign in regards to the mineral development licence application for Fox Resources.
Thanks, Councillor Marshall. Is there any questions? Otherwise, that item will be discussed at next week's general meeting. And Councillor Hammond is just joining us. Okay. Move on to the next item, which is a petition from the CBD businesses of Bundaberg in relation to car park. Councillor McPhee.
I'm just going to declare a real conflict of interest in that I penned the letter when prior to being elected to council as business person. So,
thank you. I realise it's only for noting, but Councillor McPhee's going to leave the chamber in case there was any discussion or other questions.
I just had a question, Mr. Chair. A few of the CBD business house operators have contacted me and said that the current restrictions that we have on enforcing the parking restrictions aren't working, and they're having issues with other business staff parking in the car parks in front of their businesses all day. Instead of the petition just being noted, I'd also like to ensure that if it is passed by council, it's actually actioned, and we put the process back in place to implement the parking restrictions in the CBD.
Thanks, Councillor Bartels. That will require a resolution of the council because it's effectively undoing the previous decision. Just by way of information, after it was brought to my attention last week, some council staff were also, it was indicated that some council staff were also using those car parks. We've subsequently by email reminded all staff to use the off-street car parks that we have available. I would think I'd suggest that you might want to add to your motion and also write to the Chamber of Commerce, letting them know that perhaps their members are disadvantaged in your own businesses by virtue of staff taking up customer car parks. But we'll add that to the petition next week for discussion at the general meeting as a recommendation, which can be then moved and seconded and voted on from the floor.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, is obviously taking on board the noting of the petition, the opportunity then to add that to the general meeting to come back at a later date with all the options and advice for both for and against, so councils can make a precise and clear decision with all the information before them. If that's appropriate, Mr. CEO.
Mr. Mayor, can I just clarify, you mean to actually physically do some checking ourselves to have a look where may be an issue?
I just think, through you, CEO, is before councillors vote on any matter or issue that they have all the information available to them to make a decision.
All right, I'll talk to Gavin and we'll see whether we can get that data in a week or whether we need a longer period of time.
Because what I am obviously cognizant of is that these were a suite of arrangements for COVID-19, and we will be certainly dictated on by what the state response is in relation to obviously not just distancing, but also essential requirements of people going about particular businesses as well. So we certainly, hope that the normality returns as soon as possible, but it's going to be a timing matter as well that we have to take into account following state regulations.
Yeah, look, I'll check with Gavin. I don't believe that decision made by the council was anyway going to be dictated to by the state in terms of not controlling regulated pay.
That's correct.
Councillor,
Quickly on that, when this comes next week, it'll only be to receive a note.
well, I think what the Mayor is indicating is that
Councillor Bartel.
Councillor Bartels would like to move an additional motion that would be reinstated. What the Mayor's then asked for is that we get all the information so that Council can make an informed decision at its general meeting. I'll need to talk to Gavin to see whether we can get enough data in a week in terms to provide councillors with that information. Because it appears to be only a few pockets. Certainly if I look out my window as I do every day, it's not an issue from there to that corner, I can assure you. There may be pockets further down into the CBD that have been impacted.
Mr Chair, I'd be happy to hold off until we can be provided with additional information, because we put this measure in place with really good intentions. It's just it has backfired in a few areas, of course.
Yeah, Mr Chairman, I'd like to see the Chamber of Commerce be approached by council officers to ask what they perceive as the issues in relation to parking in the Main Street, so that we can include that with the category 19 recommendations as well.
Okay, well we can certainly approach the Chamber without a council resolution to get their views on it. But at this stage then we'll get those views and we'll come back then to... This report will still go up as it is for noting next week, and we'll then come back with a supplementary report to the main meeting. Okay. All right, Councillor McPhee back. Okay, the next report's the financial summary up to the 2nd of April 2020, and I'll ask our CFO Anthony to present that report.
Good afternoon, Council. Just the presentation of the financial summary to the 2nd of April. Just a note that this is to the 2nd of April and we are monitoring the impact of the COVID-19 on the financial impact of COVID-19 as we speak, and that will continue to happen. Just going through the financial statement there, the financial summary itself, progress through the year or percentage of through the year is 76%. And this report is just a summary or a high-level overview of what our operating and capital activities present at this point in time against the budget. Points worth the note is the revenue from rates and utility charges is at 100%. So we've already levied both levies for the year, and so that we show the revenue when we issue the notices, not when the funds received, because it's accrual. So that's 100%. You can see on there that under council that the operating surplus is a slight surplus of about $547,000. And as you go across the report, that's listing the council general operations as well as the 3 significant business activities of wastewater and water. On that same operational line, you can see that under the general fund that it actually has a deficit of and sorry about the size of the writing, I'm even struggling to read it now, so of about $23 million, and some of the other funds make a operating surplus. As part of the requirements under our NCP, the significant business units must return a dividend or a return on capital to the general fund, and you see there's about $15 million is coming back across those funds, which would leave the general fund with about an $8 million deficit this year. Under the on the cash down at the bottom is at the time of doing this report and the time of doing our last budget was adopted in January, we were expecting $111 million in the bank at the end of the year. Just on that, and sort of just nearly in the middle of that page, or 3/4 of the way down, we've got an unallocated surplus. The funds in that as a whole of council is about $35 billion, and I suppose just for noting that those funds are available for future capital investment and also to ensure the sustainability of the council. On page 12, which is the recurrent revenue, already spoken about the rates and charges. The fees and charges and also the interest will both be impacted by COVID-19 and also the council stimulus package there, so we're expecting some impacts on those. On the recurrent expenditure, employee costs at this stage are tracking in line with the budget, and we expect that to continue to the 30th of June unless something else happens, as we're going to maintain the employees at this point in time. The materials and services will see basically a decrease in expenditure this year, but it's really based on the timing of the delivery of non-capital projects. So once again, they may be impacted by COVID-19, and we may see some savings in timing anyway at the end of the year. On the page 14, the capital expenditure and the capital grants. The capital expenditure there, you can see under March that we're starting to fall behind in the delivery of your expected delivery of capital projects. Once again, that will be dependent on, I suppose, partly impacted by COVID-19 on the delivery, but also noting that there's a fairly significant amount of work in the roads reseal that normally occur towards the end of the financial year. So we do expect that to accelerate. And it's been noted there some of the significant projects that we're currently working on is the Gregory River treatment plant, the Gingin Community Hub, which is really starting to take shape out there, and Bus Street upgrade. On the cash, at the moment, or at the 2nd of April, we had about $177 million in the bank, which is an increase of nearly $31 million, mainly due to the payment of the rates coming in March, due date in March. Just on that graph there to explain that to, especially the new councillors, the shaded area down the bottom is what we call our minimum cash requirements, and as previously discussed, the minimum cash requirement at 30th of June is around about $43 million. And it sort of reflects what we believe to maintain that $43 million. The graph sort of shows you where we need to be at any point in time. So right now, to maintain our $43 million balance at the 30th of June, we would require around about $84 million in the bank. The lines at the top are showing what the budget is predicting and our actuals, and you can see that there's a sudden increase in the amount of cash that we're holding at this point in time, and once again that's due because at this point in time we'd expected to be further advanced in our capital program, so the additional funds are in the bank account. The short story is at this point in time we don't have any liquidity issues. You can see that we've got a fair buffer between our minimum cash requirements and the cash that we have in the bank. With the rate status, the amount outstanding in March was $9.2 million, which is pretty much in line with what we paid in previous years. However, with the ceasing to charge interest and also the ceasing of the debt recovery or actively recovering debt between now and the 30th of June, we expect that that debt to not decrease as much as it would have done in previous years. So we're expecting a higher rate of outstanding debts at the 30th of June. The other debtors, most of the information is there for your for your information. Just at the last point there, under our accounts receivable procedure, we are required to report to council any write-offs that have been undertaken, I suppose, in the quarter. This will be an addition to the report every quarter that will be just highlighting if there's any write-off. During the quarter, we did have a write-off of $5,772.36 to a debtor that had waste fees owing to council. It relates right back to 2018, and the debtor went into liquidation, so there's no recovery of the debt. The council basically followed a procedure where we moved them onto a cash account once the account's outstanding for a period of time, and then we followed that with the normal process of trying to recover the debt. So as far as I can see, all processes were followed correctly, but the company went into liquidation. And then for your information is the loan balances as they currently stands. Any questions?
Thanks, Anthony. Questions or comments? Comprehensive, thank you. The next item is a review of some of our council policies. We'll be methodically working through a review of all of our policies in the next few months, but these are a couple that we need to get through fairly quickly with the new council. Christine, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So the first report that we're putting forward is regarding the council policy review. At this stage, we're presenting to council for endorsement the councillor code of conduct policy and the standing orders for council meeting policies. At this stage, there's been no changes made to the policies. They're there for endorsement. And I'd just like councillors to note that in the future, there is a bill presented before Parliament at the moment in regard to further amendments to the Local Government Act in regard to the Register of Interest and new and clarified conflict of interest requirements. So these policies will be further amended in accordance with the legislation. So there will be a suite of documents and policies that will be presented before council for adoption in the future. But at this stage, we're presenting to you the code of conduct and the standing orders for adoption at this meeting. Anyone's got any questions in regard to those policies?
Very good, thank you very much. The next item is the operational plan review.
So councillors, in accordance with the local government regulation, the Chief Executive Officer is required to present a written assessment of council's progress towards the annual operational plan of intervals of not more than 3 months. The operational plan report is provided to you in your meeting minutes there, and the report is presented to council for noting.
Questions? Quite a lot of information in that report. Thank you. And are you doing the pay-as-you-go recommend a resolution as well?
So item G3, there's a recommendation on that report to council that council offers a contributing superannuation arrangement to councillors, and that under section 226 of the Local Government Act, council take part in the local government superannuation scheme. And part 2 of the recommendation is making a determination under section 446-5 of Schedule 1 of the Tax Administration Act regarding councillors being treated as pay-as-you-go taxpayers.
Thanks, Christine. Any discussion, questions, clarification? We're all pretty clear what that's about. So that'll be resolved next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the open part of the meeting. And thank you to the 12 people that have tuned in to view the proceedings using live streaming. And we'll now close the meeting and to discuss five confidential items. Thank you.